who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories. From missing funds to policy failures, we ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television. Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is Africa News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Voice of the People. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Soibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikena Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures. both serving on former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging 1-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get drum! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is Africa News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
From the views on the streets,
we go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Hello there and welcome on board. Of course, it is People's Voice on Voice of the People Television, where citizen stories shape the narrative. And today we're dissecting a major conversation that is dominating the headline and sparking conversation across the nation. Today, we're talking about the armed forces. A day, of course, honoring the fallen. A salute to Nigerians' armed forces. And of course, I will be touching every other news stories, but this would be our major area of conversation today. Join the conversation with experts inside the citizen perspective. Share your thoughts with us. I am Xavier Udo. Let's look into other news stories with details. TUC gives federal government a 7-day ultimatum to withdraw no work, no pay circular. The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to withdraw its no work, no pay circular and restore salaries of joint health sector union. Of course, TUC described the circular as reckless, authoritarian and confrontational, warning that failure to comply would trigger mass industrial resistance. The union accused the ministry of negotiating with workers while imposing sanctions. Of course, this particular one is quite a very, serious one there, where if the government actually say no work, no pay, of course, the union will also say no pay, no work. But I just want us to, try and see how to dialogue, and come up with something even better instead of all of this back and forth that we are always having in every sector. ASU is somewhere there, we have the TUC here, having issues, the labor are somewhere there. Why do we always have to do this? The Nigerian resident doctors are also there. Should anything even happen to get to the point where we have to go on strike, or we have to, threaten to go on strike? We have to understand that we need each other, in as much as the people need, the government also need us to do our job, okay? So basically, we just have to have a better way of always addressing the situation. And away from that particular one, we'll be talking about the most important conversation that is going around, as regards to Nigerian, sector when it comes to our financial aspects. Nigerian government imposes 7.5% VAT on electronic banking services. When I saw this particular one today, I just told myself, I said it is high time we understand that the government are not ready to back down. Neither are they ready to even stop this, situation of taxation. They are not even ready to, to take a break. Ever since the government said no turning back from, the 1st of January, I just knew that there is nothing we could do about this particular one. The federal government of Nigeria has directed banks and fintechs to collect and remit a 7.5% value-added tax on certain electronic banking services, effective January 19, 2026. The VAT will apply to electronic banking charges, including mobile money transfers, USSD transaction fees, and card issuance fees. This is quite a very, very serious one. And of course, they actually exempted interest earned on deposits and savings. Of course, so for example, if a bank charges 100 naira, okay, to make transfer, and the VAT 7.5% will be applied to that particular service fee, and now it means that it's going to cost you 107.50. Welcome to Nigeria. The Nigerian Revenue Service has actually set a deadline for compliance, requiring all commercial banks, microfinance banks, and electronic money operators to implement the VAT collection and remittance process. The move is part of the government's effort to standardize VAT collection on digital financial services and expand revenue generation amid Nigeria's growing digital economy. And away from that particular one, ADC State's chairman opposed zoning of 2027 presidential tickets. The African Democratic Congress, ADC State Chairman, have urged the party's National Working Committee to reject zoning for the 2027 presidential ticket, advocating for an open, transparent, and credible primary election. They believe zoning would weaken the party's chances in general election and undermine its emerging role as a coalition platform for opposition forces. The chairman emphasized that competence, credibility, and electability should guide the party's choice of presidential candidates rather than geopolitical consideration. And of course, still talking about the polls, Ekiti Electoral Commission pledges free, fair local government polls. Ekiti State Independent Electoral Commission has actually assured stakeholders that it's ready to conduct free and fair, transparent, credible election for the government elections in the states. And of course, the Commission's Chairman, Justice Cornelius Akintayo, made this known at a stakeholders meeting in Ado-Ekiti, urging all parties to cooperate for each free exercise on December 12th. The Commission has put in place measures to strengthen public confidence in the electoral process and ensure a peaceful election. Yobe State clears 15.4 billion gratuity backlog for retirees. This particular one is a laudable one. The Yobe State governor, of course, has actually directed its government to fully settle outstanding gratuity owed to state and local government retirees, amounting to over 15.4 billion. The secretary to the state government, Baba Wali, disclosed this during a press briefing marking 6 years of Governor Maimala Boni administration. The payment is part of the government's effort to improve workers' welfare and fiscal responsibility. And of course, talking about the ADC situation, Atiku doesn't have billions to bribe delegates, says Dele Momodu, a chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, and of course, who's a die-hard fan of Atiku. Dele Momodu has dismissed concerns that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar would use money to influence the party's presidential primary. Momodu stated that Atiku, as a businessman, does not have the billions of dollars required to bribe delegates. He emphasized that campaign funding is for legitimate logistics and election day operation, not bribery. Momodu cited the 2024 U.S. Presidential election as an example where substantial campaign funds did not guarantee victory. And of course, away from that particular one, let's come to the insecurity situation in the country. Sokoto leaders decry threats by notorious bandit leader Bello Turji. Leaders of the Sokoto State Eastern Senatorial District are urging the government and security agencies to intervene in the ongoing crisis caused by notorious bandit leader Bello Turji. Over 20 settlements have been affected, with many residents fleeing their homes in search of safety after Turji's threats. The displaced residents are seeking refuge in neighboring communities, including some in Niger Republic. Of course, according to Mwazo Shamaki, Secretary to the Sokoto Eastern Zone Development Association, The situation has led to untold hardship for the residents. Malam Bashir Gawaya Issa appealed for prompt government intervention to salvage the situation, noting that many communities have actually been completely deserted. And of course, the conversation actually alighted as regards to the federal government ASU. They've actually signed a pact to end strike in universities. The federal government, of course, Academic Staff Union of Universities, have signed an agreement to end the ongoing strike in Nigerian universities. And of course, the agreement includes a 40% upward review of academic staff emoluments, improved research funding, and a new professorial cadre allowance, which is quite a laudable one there. And of course, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, described that the pact as a historic turning point that would restore trust, dignity, and confidence in the nation's university system. The agreement is also set to include establishment of a National Research Council to provide funding for research and development. ASU President Prof. Chris Powana commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his commitment to resolving the long-standing crisis. However, he raised a concern about government encroachment on universities' autonomy and the need for systemic reforms. To join the conversation, kindly call the number 09044732605. Follow us on social media at VOPTV Live, and of course on YouTube we are Voice of the People TV, and you can use the hashtag People's Voice on VOPTV. Yes, you can kindly hit the subscribe button, and together we can make our voices heard. It is time for us to go on a quick break. As soon as we return, we'll be taking the conversation precept upon precept, and afterwards we will talk about honoring the fallen, a salute to Nigerians armed forces. Don't go nowhere, please. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Uyi Osariti is my name. I am a friend of the microphone. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios. Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I mean, like, well, this TV station will go places. Voice of the People TV.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV. Live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Voice of the People, you can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Ibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenna Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
2564 is coming up on running 9, right? The 2564 Atlantic Tower. What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope. The sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
On Edu Dialogue, we bring you fresh ideas and conversations, shaping the future of learning in Nigeria and beyond.
In a world where power shapes meets every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Welcome back to the program. It is still People's Voice on Voice of People Television. Today is quite a very significant day in Nigeria. January 15th, 2026. Nigerians are marking Armed Force Remembrance Day. Okay, a solemn occasion dedicated to honoring the sacrifices of military personnel who have served and continue to serve the nation. The day is a poignant reminder of the bravery and dedication of Nigerians armed forces. Of course, commemorating those who have laid down their lives in defense of this country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a message, emphasized the importance of national unity and sacrifices made by the armed forces. He stated, "Let us ensure violence and, of course, divisive tendency for a peaceful and prosperous nation. Let us all become ambassadors of peace." The president also launched the Thank a Soldier digital platform, enabling Nigerians to send messages of appreciation to troops. The 2026 Armed Forces celebration, of course, and Remembrance Day kicked off on January 9th, which actually elapsed till today, to be precise, with various events, including special prayers, national symposium, and gala award nights. The theme, Valor, Sacrifice, and Unity. Honoring our heroes, highlighted professionalism and, of course, the sacrifice of the Nigerian Armed Forces. We're now being joined by Mr. Dele Fanimo, a seasoned reporter and, of course, a senior political analyst. You're welcome on board, sir.
My pleasure.
Well, I don't have to actually mention what it took me to have to drag him here today, because today's conversation has to do with people like him who have been around for long. And not only that, he's also an ex-boy. So
my father was the heart of the Civil War.
Yeah, so it will be better for you to actually react to all of this particular conversation today instead of me to just, bring someone else. So we also have joining us virtually, Comrade Eragbe Anslem, from the Labour Party. Hello, comrade. Good afternoon.
Fellow Nigerians, my pleasure. Eragbe Anslem, National Youth Leader, Labour Party.
All right, you're welcome on board, Comrade Eragbe Anslem. All right, quickly, I would like to come back to the studio here. I'd like to ask, sir, do you have any of the news stories you would like to react to? I've said so much. You can pick it up from that of Dele Momodu saying that Atiku does not have billions to bribe delegates. You can pick it up from, of course, the Yobe State, who actually cleared all of the backlogs for retirees of 15.4 billion naira. You can take it up from the situation of ADC chairmen coming together to oppose zoning, for their presidential tickets. We have so much that we've actually talked about. And of course, the bank situation of 7.5% VAT. You can also pick it up from there.
Now let me quickly react to these banks. A lot of people are misconstruing these 7.5% VAT deduction. You see, nobody's going to. Some people even went as far as saying the the 5% will be a deduction from the amount you are sending to the recipient. If, for instance, if I have to send 1 million naira to you now, that means 75,000 naira will be deducted from my 1 million naira. But that's not the whole idea. You see, the whole idea is, usually before now, there is always a particular deduction on electronic transfer.
Yeah.
That deduction, for instance, if you are sending 100,000 naira to me, if the USSD deduction is about 300 naira for sending 100,000 naira to me, from the 300 naira deducted by the bank is what government would automatically take 7.5. So it's not from your own account.
But what we are getting as regards to their own example is saying that it will now be 307. For example, if it were to be 100, it will now be 107.50%.
No.
That's why so many people have been raising their, raising all of these concerns.
You see, the problem with interpreting policies is the fact that we rely on those who don't know, but give the posturing that they know. And then you rely on them, and then what we hear from beer parlors and all that. The true situation is what I'm telling you.
So, Mr. Dele, are you in support of this taxation situation?
The taxation is to the bank, not to you. Instead of the bank taking the whole of your 300 naira and declaring huge profit, government says it wants to take a slice of it. And that slice of it is deducted from what the bank deducted from your account, not from your own account directly. That's the whole idea.
So what you're telling us now, the whole idea of federal government, tax reforms and all of that, we are not all affected. Is that what you're saying?
I am talking about this particular one.
Okay.
I need to interpret this
particular one before we move to the other point. Okay.
You understand?
Okay. So Nigerians, perhaps we just have to put our mind at rest for now. So in case you are debited and it is more than what Mr. Dele Fanimo is saying, I assure you, he would refund some of your money.
Well, and funny enough, there is this thing that Nigerians don't take advantage of.
Which is?
If you have every reason to believe that over a period of time, XYZ Bank had deducted what they shouldn't have deducted from your account, you have every right to petition the CBN, who will look into it. I've seen people being refunded millions of naira. But we sit back and just murmur.
Okay, so for me, I don't think I've ever petitioned CBN. I don't even have business with them to an extent. But I've actually written to my banks. When I use the word my banks, not just one or two, I've written to them on several occasions and I've gotten my refunds.
Exactly.
I've got my refunds.
Exactly.
So that I cannot come here and say otherwise.
Nigerians will just sit back without taking a step.
Sometimes the problem is not about complaining, especially when they tell you, put it into writing. Nigerians just want to come to you and tell them, my money is missing, my money is missing, you understand?
But take a step
and they
to recover your money.
Right.
They won't do.
They don't want it. Especially when they even tell some of them to actually fill that form. But of course, let's leave that particular one. Do you have any other one you want to react to before we go straight to?
Well, another one that I will react to is the issue of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day.
Okay, so that's the major conversation for the day.
Yeah. Well, if it's going to be the major conversation, then maybe we should talk about the Yobe governor.
Okay.
You recall that it's the same Yobe governor that declared 45 billion asset declaration to Code of Conduct Bureau. For God's sake, what is there to celebrate in giving people their money?
But he has even made an attempt, sir. What about those that were there before him and that will still be there after him?
Then go after them as citizens.
When was the last time you ever heard that a particular governor from the same party goes after his predecessor.
Do you know that of recent, 2 governors have come to say we have so much money now being given to us from the federal account?
Yeah, of course.
If governors will say that, and no governor in the last 1.5 years or 2 had gone to seek external loan, and they are paying their workers as and when due, and some of them that are futuristic are constructing roads and are building infrastructures. Now, what excuse will a governor that is underperforming give to his people if they march against the government house and say, Oga, this is not your money, this is our money. How are you spending it? But we sit down here and begin to criticize federal government. What are the local governments doing? You see, there are 3 layers of government. If you cannot hold your local government chairman accountable, your state governor accountable, you know how much it will take you to travel from Lagos to Abuja, even by road.
But we're still talking about the local government autonomy that has not been fully
even
approved.
Without local government autonomy, there were 2 local governments, Etiosa, and 1 particular local government in Lagos.
Okay.
They rebuilt their health center, fully equipped with beddings and all you need. It was solar powered. Did they steal money to get that done? The question is, we are too docile. We don't ask questions. If a local government can build 2 health centers and upgrade it to a world-class hospital within the means of the local government, then what excuse will a state governor give for not building 1 hospital in 4 years?
But I just feel some of them are actually prioritizing something.
Prioritizing what?
And that's the reason why presently in Abia State now they're having issues.
See, I tell you, the reports I get on Enugu State Governor, fantastic.
What about Abia State?
Abia State, fantastic.
But guess what? Ojo good. But Ojo Okalu said that the Abia State governor has not been
what did he do when he was governor for 8 years?
He said he has been using paint to paint roads that he actually built. Guess what? And at some point, we had to dig in.
If not for state pardon, Ojo Okalu was in the prison, was in Kuje prison for some months.
Okay, let us
properly convicted.
Let us actually leave that particular one for another day. Now, Ojo Okalu, went as far as saying that they would remove Alex Otti in office, come 2027. But when we did our digging, we realized that Alex Otti only did what so many governors are yet to do: abolishing everything called pensions for former governors and former deputy governors. And till now, why are they still being paid pension? What is it for?
You see, Lagos State government started that thing.
Almost all governors in Nigeria, they live here, they become senators.
No, the Senate.
Some of them are ministers.
Senate is a rest house.
Yes.
Or past governors. That's the rest house.
So they are still in service either ways.
What about a military man that rose to become a general? He is collecting his salary for life.
He fought for the nation.
I know many generals that never fought.
He defended us while we were sleeping. But what did a governor?
The governor also has sleepless nights.
That we voted him to go and work for us?
Shaping policies.
Shaping?
Yes.
Staying in the best hotel.
No, you are trying to justify. You see,
so I think at some point, I'm not justifying anything, but when we talk about the military, to an extent, I believe you understand, because your father, for example, actually fought for this nation. How many times did you see him in a month? Talk less of in a year.
He has long been dead. So
nevertheless, but of course, while he was there, he served your nation. How many politicians can serve this nation with their lives? That's what we're saying.
You see, let me also tell you, if you are close to these governors, particularly the ones that are really working, they don't even have time for themselves.
particularly for those that are working. I love the fact that you buttress that.
They don't even have time for themselves. In fact, that's why I question why they are stealing so much. Because they don't even have time to spend this money they are stealing.
No,
they just stash it away.
No, they just stash it. Then when they are done with their 8 years,
my brother,
then they go back to
my brother. If a governor serves meritoriously for 8 years, is spent after leaving office. There's no razzmatazz again.
I'm still waiting to see more governors like Raji Fashola, His Excellency Raji Fashola, who would actually leave office. That's what I'm saying. Who would actually finish office, dust up his wig, wear his regalia, his uniform, and go back. You understand? To the courts and deal with any litigation at all that his client has given to him. That's what we call a profession, not anybody telling me, oh, what do you do for a living? Say I'm a politician. How? All right, let me go to Comrade Iragbe Anslem. Hello, Comrade, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Comrade, we actually started very hot in the studio, so let me bring it to you. We're talking about the Armed Force Day. Of course, they've actually been there for us. I'm talking about Nigerian Armed Forces in total. And you would agree with me that if we would talk about safety in this nation, they've actually been at the forefront, making sure that the sovereignty of this nation and, of course, all our territories are protected and safe. So we'll be honoring them as well on the show, honoring the fallen, and, of course, a salute the Nigerian Armed Forces. But I'd like to take it up from here and to start up with you as regards to this one. What role do you think the Nigerian Armed Forces play in maintaining national security? Because we are having a very fragile, situation as regards to peace in the nation as we speak, and it got to a point where we can't even, handle the situation alone. And now we are even welcoming, the United States of America to help us do some strikes as regards to handing some, insecurities in the core north. And of course, I would like you to take all of this particular conversation simultaneously. How effective do you think the current government's strategy is in tackling the insecurity in the nation? Please go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. Iragbe Anslem, as always, the National Youth Leader of Labour Party. I know there are many things you also don't know about me. My dad, though late now, served in the Nigerian Army, fought the Civil War. I was born in the barrack. I grew up in the barracks. So I have a very first-hand experience of how my dad left us severally. In 1990, my dad also arrived in Liberia and was in Liberia for 3 years to 1993. I think his team, 311 Field Artillery Regiment, Ekpe Barracks, which was later dissolved after the April 1990 coup of Oka. So, and later I was moved to Katangura, the Nigerian Army weaponry there, from where he retired afterwards. So, I brought to say this to let you know that I was born and brought up in the system. So I saw my dad severally, a few times. I didn't see him many years because he had to defend both the integrity of Nigeria from 1967 to 1970 and other foreign missions. Now, I was speaking from this background. You see, some of us are highly pained to find out that some Nigerians have actually jeopardized their lives for the integrity, the peace and stability of this nation and other nations. But in the end, most of them have gone to their graves without reward. It's actually very painful. I have so many of my friends whom we grew up together. Their parents passed on, they died in the course of defending either Nigeria or some other places. And I know what they went through up to today. Now, if I have the privilege, let me tell you straight on, those who have had the rare privilege of serving this nation in any form in terms of security, be they police, be they army, DSS, any category, Navy, these persons should be highly recognized and rewarded. And also civil servants. who gave all they had in terms of their intellect, their time, their ability to look after the growth of this nation. So basically, I think for any administration to actually appreciate what we are seeing, just like the insecurity in Nigeria. Let me say this on the air, maybe for the first time also. I was in the university, in Ahmadu Bello University, as far back as 1997, when I knew that a militia force was being groomed in Nigeria. I'm talking of 1997. So what you saw eventually as Boko Haram or otherwise in 2009 did not start in 2009. I can tell you in public today that I started as much as I knew then in my 100 level that a force was being developed in Nigeria. And so many of my mates also left the university in that era to nowhere, to Sambisa and the rest of them. So at the time, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan shouted that the Boko Haram members were part of his government. He wasn't lying. Like I said again, you are aware, I'm a civil servant. As at the time Goodluck Ebele was shouting, I was in NASENI also, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, where the president of Nigeria is the chairman of the governing board. So a lot has gone wrong with our country.
Comrade.
Yes.
All right, so Comrade, I'd like to ask you, it's good now that you just made it clear that, of course, your father was also, a former military, personnel. So it's safe to ask you a few questions as regards to this. How can the government improve the welfare of military personnel and, of course, their families? And what are the implications of the recent mass recruitment of soldiers and police officers in Nigerian security landscape? I'd like you to take this in just 2 minutes because we're pressed for time. Please go ahead.
Well, thank you. You see, first and foremost, we also must realize that the welfare of security personnel is always very key. And the security arrangement is a regimented system. They have a way of life. They have their own culture. There is discipline. There is order. There is regiment. So you see, until these things, the Nigeria security system must return to its fundamentals. You see, I'm talking like this because, like I said, I was born and brought up in this system. So I can tell you outrightly so many things offhand. So they have departed from the norms. For instance, if you look at the welfare, these days you find policemen, soldier men living in the midst of nowhere. Most of them, they don't even have barracks anymore. If you look at their kits, some of them, if you look at their legs, they no longer have boots. Virtually, there are no houses, no accommodation, salaries are not paid properly, children are not well taken care of, families suffer, my brother. So what we need to do is we need to, as a people, once again, sit back. You see, there are ways not to develop a people and a nation. That is the approach we have adopted in Nigeria.
Okay.
There are also ways not to grow economies. For instance, maybe time may not permit me to go into all of those details for today. You see, we really need to rejig virtually every sphere of our national life.
Okay.
Now, there has to be productivity ultimately, upon which infrastructure will be built. Now, even this taxation they are talking about, there are ways not to do it, and there are ways to do it. That may not be the discussion for today also.
Okay.
So basically, I will say to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, well, he's beginning to get his act together, probably maybe also because the U.S. government are interfering or intervening from that angle. But I also want to commend him also to say this is what Nigerians have asked for. A situation where the direction will be very clear. Are we truly fighting the insurgents or we are pampering them?
Okay.
For God's sake, we need to root out this element from our system. More so in terms of security recruitment. Everybody in Nigeria should be trained. A country of about 200 million people, you have a handful of bandits of no more than 100 or 50,000 people taking the entire nation hostage. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
All right, thank you so much.
Last time I gave my simple analysis about how the recruitment. I said, why should states, there are 37 states, including the FCT, why should we not have a minimum of 1 million people employed, 1 million per state, to be catered for by the state government?
Okay.
We are going to come into all of this analysis subsequently. So these are ways. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should ideally increase the force.
All right.
Let the operation go intense, very intense. We thank the Chief of Army Staff and the rest of them who are beginning to wake up to their responsibility.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Ragbi Anslem. So sorry, we're so pressed for time today, and that's the reason why we might not be able to take more. But this particular conversation will be adjourned because usually when it comes to armed forces, I take it quite personal. Because I also would have become an infantry today if I actually scaled through. If I actually scaled through, and my name actually, finally was released at NDA in Kaduna, to be precise. But God understands better the reason why I am a broadcast journalist today, because Mr. Dele Falimo. So I would have actually loved to, fight for this nation, but here we are. So I usually take their conversation quite seriously. But let me come to the studio in just 2 minutes. I'd like you to just wrap up the conversation so we can, take a bow out of the studio. What are your thoughts on the recent allocation of 3.15 trillion for the Ministry of Defense in the 2026 budget? And of course, do you think the Nigerian military is adequately equipped to handle modern security threats?
You see, no nation can really adequately cater to the needs of its military the way it should have been taken care of. But efforts must be made to ensure that there is some level of commitment towards ensuring that the nation's armed forces are kept above the average in terms of funding, in terms of training and retraining, in terms of providing logistics and armaments. So for me, how much is this budget when you convert it to dollars? Do you know that a missile today, if you Google it, you'll find out, a missile today hovers between $11 and $30 million. And you see some nations deploying as many as 200 missiles in a day during wartime. So what is the level of commitment of Nigerian government to the military when you look at such things? You understand? An unmanned sophisticated drone costs as much as $17 million. And when you convert $17 million, you are looking at about 29 billion. So when you take out all this, but to the extent that in this part of the world, we are not building nuclear weapons, we are not building biological weapons and all that. Now we are still content with armor tanks, fighter jets, drones, and the likes. But it's one thing to budget. It's another thing for the people that are saddled with the responsibility of making sure that this money is adequately and judiciously utilized, make use of it for the betterment of this country. We have heard some of these soldiers in the theater of war lamenting the low level of their weaponry as against those ragtag insurgents. So we need to up our ante to ensure, and of course, the coming of the U.S. government to assist us in ensuring that we have an upper hand in this battle. I think it's a welcome development.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for joining the program. And of course, thank you so much, Comrade Ragbi Anslem, for being part of the program. This is how far we can actually go on the show. Coming up next is Locker Room. Of course, if you enjoy the world of sport, I'd like you to stay put to enjoy their production, in as much as we're all quite sad because the Super Eagles actually bowed out of the Nations Cup. But that's how far I can actually talk about it. I don't want to be emotional when it comes to that particular match. Don't give up because it is not over. Tough time doesn't last, but tough will do last. Whatsoever you're facing will soon be over, and you will definitely smile again. My name remains Xavier Udo. Have a good evening. Rest.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Africa is on the move.